There's a bit of a revised photo in the revised photos in camera roll. So Jews believe God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. God is believed to have created the universe exactly how he wanted, without relying on materials. So ex nihilo, he's the ultimate creator, and he revealed himself from his creation. Genesis, God made the world from nothing, made ex nihilo, made it exactly how he wanted to. 6 days of creation, 1 day rest. God revealed himself for his creation. In the beginning there was light from darkness. Shekinah is a divine presence. It means dwelling or settling, and of the divine presence of God in his cosmic glory. This exact term does not occur in the Hebrew Bible, but is in rabbinic literature. Physical presence of God. So he revealed himself through pillar of fire and clouds. When Moses escaped from Egypt, he was protected by a pillar of cloud by day and pillar of fire by night. Transcendent experience of God in cloud or fire in personal in Moses. Tabernacle tent where Moses freed slaves and wandered in the desert for 40 days. The tent was built for worship and presence. God in the stone ark where God lived. In Promised Land, Temple of Solomon, to transfer the Shekinah from tabernacle to temple and ark, and commandments transferred. So, examples of Shekinah. So, his creation, Ezekiel 43:2. Pillar of fire and cloud, Exodus 13:21 and 14:24. Exodus 24:15. Exodus 40 to 33 to 34, which is the tabernacle. The one before that one was God leading Jesus through the desert, and 1 Kings 6:11 to 13, where the temple was raided, so Jews hope they can bring back God's presence to the Temple of Solomon today. So, the first one, Ezekiel. The earth shone in his glory. Many Jews believe that the world's design reveals the presence of God in the world. Exodus 13:21 and 14:24. God went before them in a pillar of cloud by day to guide them, in a pillar of fire by night. God uses pillars of clouds and fire to guide the slaves of Moses. All looked down upon the Egyptian army from a pillar of fire and cloud, threw them into panic. God's presence protected the Jews as they crossed the Red Sea. Exodus 24:15, covered by so Mount Sinai is covered by cloud. The presence of God on the seventh day was seen by fire on top of the mountain. Exodus 43:34, when Moses finished building the tabernacle, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and God's presence filled it. And Kings, in the Temple of Solomon, transferred from the tabernacle. Temple built by King Solomon, 975 BCE. Temple destroyed. People wicked, and God left the temple, but returned when a new one was built after Jews captured in Babylon until 70 CE, where it was destroyed again, and God's presence returned to heaven. Nature of God in Judaism. God is one. The Shema is a Jewish statement of faith and says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one." This means God cannot be divided into parts, he is indivisible. God wants people to live a certain way, and he gave them laws, starting with Adam and then Noah. Later, he gives most laws to Moses, so the Ten Commandments. God has qualities that are beyond human ability, such as being all-powerful, all-knowing and all-loving. God cannot be truly known. He reveals himself through his creation, his divine presence and his prophets, but he will never be truly understood. The story of the flood shows God as judge, in the sense he can be punishing, but also merciful and loving. The story of Noah shows all these qualities. God made the world from nothing. This means God is creative power, has willed the world to exist. He also is pre-existent and eternal. This means he continues to sustain his creation. Also everlasting. He exists through time, but has no beginning or end. Christians believe the same. So, God gave Jews laws to exercise their free will the way God wants them to. The foundation of these laws were the Mosaic Covenant, or the Ten Commandments. Laws were given in 13th century BCE. The mitzvot are now called the laws. There are 613. Halakha is the Jewish code of conduct, Jewish religious laws from Torah. Jews obey these laws, do what God requires them to do, and as a guide for faithful life and to go to heaven, Abrahamic covenant. To get the promised land, keep the covenant, because God gave Jews existence of faith and life teachings for a good faithful life to achieve heaven, for paradise and afterlife. God judges all people for how well they follow the mitzvah and the Ten Commandments. Jews believe that God's judgments are just and fair, and because God created the laws, and great importance, he's also merciful and decides their fate after death. Rosh Hashanah, important for Jews because it's a new year and God judges their actions the past years, and to ask for forgiveness and blessing to be a better year, and follow laws better next year. Jews believe they'll be judged after death. Shekinah is God's presence. Tabernacle was a portable tent where the presence of God was dwelling and worshipped. It's taken throughout the 40-year journey to the Promised Land, where it was used and transported through the desert. The Tanakh says about this journey is they were led by a pillar of fire and cloud. Jews associate Shekinah with Sephirot, 10 attributes of God created and can project himself. So, conquest of Canaan, the presence of God left the temple. Presence of God left the temple to heaven as the temple was destroyed, and